And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 of this best of 5 series between FXO Lowely and Acer Nerchio. The second map is going to be Daybreak. In the upper right, we have Acer Nerchio, the red Zerg, the defeater, not the defeater, the defeated of the previous game. There we go. A little bit upset about it as well. Could he possibly tilt? We will have to wait and see. His opponent, the victor of game number 1, is FXO Lowely. That's going to be the blue Zerg player spawning on the opposite side of the map in the lower left, because that is how Daybreak works. It's a 2-player map. So there's a player on the lower left and a player in the upper right. Now, I don't think Nerchio is actually going to really badly tilt, because he does this with disturbing regularity. It's unfortunate. It's the one thing that separates Nerchio from being like my favorite player of all time ever, is he does get a little bit verbally abusive when he wins games he feels like, or when he loses games, excuse me, that he feels like he deserves to have won, which is a little bit unfortunate. However, he has played a ridiculous amount of games. I urge all of you to pause the video, go to teamliquid.net, go to the TLPD, and just look at his TLPD profile and see how many games he has played. This guy is ridiculous. This is basically no different from laddering to him. He's just like, oh, I guess I have another tournament to go in. Just gotta grind out the games. Okay, this is happening now. So even though Nerchio has started things off on a little bit of a poor footing right here, I don't think it's going to really affect his mental game in any way. Now, once again, both players opening similar builds. This time, Nerchio going very fast gas, though. I think this is a much quicker gas than we saw in game number 1. So he could be going for some sort of mass speedling attack. He could go for early banelings. He's going to have a few options here to use this gas. Of course, at the same time, Lowely just going for his standard, or what appears to be his standard, hatch first into a pool. No gas quite yet, just using those drones to mine as many minerals as they possibly can so we can get that double queen out as quick as possible. Now, we are about to approach the 100 gas mined point from this extractor, so I'm paying attention to it. I'm going to leave the camera here. In fact, we're going to zoom in. It's going to be all epic, because we're going to see if he keeps mining or if he pulls drones off. And he does pull 2 of the 3 drones off of the gas, so it looks as if that was just for a quick metabolic boost upgrade as soon as he hits the 100 minerals. Yup, there it is. So this is pretty interesting. He is going for a very fast metabolic boost, not something we see super common these days. It used to be a very common strategy, basically just the bread and butter opening of the Zerg race was to go for that. However, they are tending to go straight for the roaches, straight for the infestors, things like that. Usually only getting metabolic boosts if they're planning on going mass speedlings or speed bane. However, Lowely is prepared for this. He saw something that tipped him off, because he does have a baneling nest on the way. Which of course is a great response to mass speedling, is to just go for a quick baneling nest, get 2 or 3 banelings out, and then you are in absolutely great shape. Now, Nerchio, of course, did scout that out with his lings, so if he was planning on going mass sling, it's very possible he will elect to not do that, as clearly Lowely has had some sort of insight. I'm actually gonna... Damn it. Eventually I'll select the right unit. I'm actually gonna check and see what Lowely's vision was. Yeah, and Lowely saw this quick extractor, so he knows exactly what we know. He went through the same process that we did, so he's aware that the mass speedling threat or speedling plus baneling is an issue. So that's why he went for that very fast baneling nest. And he's just playing things so defensively right now. He has a little Sim City going on with his nest, his queen, and a new spine crawler as well. He has a baneling on the high ground, a baneling on the low. There are some lings going to try and kill some drones. They aren't going to have all that much success, though. Overall, very well played by FXO Lowely, really deflecting all of the early game aggression that Nerchio was hoping he could put out. He's going back in with the lings. He may be able to take a... I have a setting wrong. So we're going to pause real quick. I do have my health bars not at the correct thing. I want them... I want to show unit... selected. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. Now when we select things, their health bars will go up. Okay. I was getting very confused. I was like, I'm selecting these lings. I'm selecting the drones. Why can't I see their health? This is so confusing. I forget there are like 4 different settings you can go for on that little drop-down menu. I'm not sure anybody uses Does anybody use any of the settings other than selected health bars or always on? I don't think they do. I don't think anybody uses like the targeting health bars or anything like that. I don't think that's an actually used option. And I don't think anybody uses just no health bars either. That would be kind of crazy. I'm not sure why somebody would play like that. Anyway, we see Lowely moving out with some Lings and the Banelings as well. However, they're going to go under no less than 3 separate Overlords. So Nerchio is going to know so many times over that this is coming. At the same time, though, he is looping some Lings of his own around here, and there is a blue drone patrolling. There's a hatchery on the way from FXO Lowely. However, Nerchio this time was going to try and take it down with some Lings. He still may be able to. He does definitely have the greater number of Lings right there. And with that little pickoff from the blue Lings, he may be able to do some damage to this hatchery. However, Lowely moving over a couple of Banelings right now. This is all going to come down to the micro. It'll be huge if Lowely does lose this hatchery. 3 Lings do go down. Another 3 going down, and that does reduce the amount of Lings substantially. In fact, I don't think Nerchio, in fact, he will not be able to take down this hatchery. Just not microed quite as well from Nerchio as they could have been. However, he has roaches in the area right now, and Lowely may not be able to defend this. He does have 8 Lings, 4 roaches on the way. Will they come out in time, though? Just adding a couple of roaches to this unit comp from Nerchio makes it so much more scarier. However, Lowely has such a sheer weight of Lings. Yeah, he's going to be able to clean this up very, very easily. Doesn't even need the roaches that he ended up spawning there. So this game actually going pretty similarly to game number 1 in that Lowely is going to be able to get another 3rd base up relatively quickly, relatively uncontested. And Nerchio is going to have to do something about that. He has a hatchery of his own coming up. Will he really be able to hold on to that, though? He doesn't have very many roaches, and there is a huge amount of Lings and a pretty strong amount of roaches moving across the map as well. I don't know if Nerchio is going to be able to keep this from getting canceled. He does have a fair amount of roaches here, and in fact, the Lings are going to go in way ahead of Lowely's roaches, so that's a little bit of mismicro from him, not attacking with all of his units at the same time. However, he does have a lot more Lings on the way, streaming over, so it may work out regardless. But still, this has given Nerchio time to get a lot more roaches out, and I'm not sure Lowely is going to be able to force a cancel on this. I think Nerchio can force this away. Both players just rallying roaches non-stop to this 3rd base location of Nerchio. Lowely really wanting to apply pressure, does eventually decide it's not worth his time to keep his units out there, though, so he is going to head home. I have a scratch in my throat, so I'm going to take a sip of water, excuse me. Okay, much better. So it does look as if this time Nerchio is going to be able to get a 3rd base up. Both players diverging in their tech a little bit. We see Lowely going for the more standard, just very fast infestation pit. It's almost halfway done. In the meantime, though, Nerchio going for a timing attack. He's producing a lot of roaches, or was producing a lot of roaches. Yeah, switched over to drones, and he has roach speed almost on the way, and he has +1/+1 on these roaches, whereas Lowely's roaches are sitting at 0/0. So this could be a very potent timing attack out here from Nerchio. He has a bunch of roaches too. There is a spine crawler getting in position. I don't know if it'll be enough though. Now Lowely does have not quite as many roaches as Nerchio does. Actually, that's a lie. He has slightly more. Looks like Nerchio is not willing to trust in those upgrades that he has. He's just going to fall back. Again, though, he's forcing a huge spawn of roaches out of Lowely. 12 roaches on the way. And if Lowely does the same thing he did in game number 1, where he sees the attack come and then he decides to push out with a lot of units, I don't know if it'll go as well for him as it did game number 1, just because Nerchio does have a lot more units back at home than he did the first time around. They do have better upgrades, in fact better upgrades than Lowely does, so if he's able to arrange a proper defensive matrix, then he could end up doing very, very well for himself. Now, it looks like Lowely is aware of that, as he's not quite pushing out, though now, as soon as I say that, he is going to move out with his roaches. I don't think he has any infestors on the way. No, the pathogen glands upgrade, not quite to the point where they allow for infestors to start being produced with that max energy possible. Coming off of the spawn, but Lowely moving across the map. Now, one thing to keep in mind is Lowely has slow roaches right now. They're about to get their speed upgrade, so never mind. What I was about to say is no longer relevant. Nerchio laughing at the fact he has slow roaches. Of course, they do just now get that speed upgrade kicking in, and they're going for the third base. However, Nerchio has so many roaches, and they are very nicely upgraded as well. Just +1/+1 on Lowely's forces, whereas Nerchio has +1/+1, and as you can see, +2/+2, very, very close to finishing, so he's going to push out right now. However, one thing to keep in mind is 6 infestors are about to hit the ground for Lowely. They're about to come out, and if they're able to get in position and land some clutch fungals, they could potentially turn this fight around in a big, big way. At the very least, I don't think Nerchio is going to be able to do as much damage to this third base as he's really hoping is going to happen, purely because of the stopping power of those infestors. He's going to have to turn around pretty quickly. A huge fungal goes down on a large, large portion of his army. That's going to get locked down from here until the end of the time. All those roaches are going to fall. However, keep in mind, these are 2/2 roaches versus 1/0 roaches, so it may not matter, but it will. It will matter. The infestor's too strong, able to overcome that 3 upgrade advantage that Nerchio did have. And he's going to have to run back home, and he is in a lot of trouble right now. About a 40 supply deficit. Lowely ready to push his advantage. There is no way, I think. Well, actually, there are Hydras out, and 2/2 Hydras are scary, so Lowely is going to fall back. He really wanted to come here and try and force a cancel on this 4th base, but with that spawn of 8 Hydras, he knows it's not going to happen. He just pulls back, and he decides to double expand in response. He knows he's super safe. He can't really do anything against Nerchio, but he's sure Nerchio can't do a thing against him, so he's taking his 4th and his 5th base right now. Getting +2 attack. That's about to finish up. Still no armor upgrades, though, so his units going to get absolutely shredded by the Hydras that Nerchio does have access to. And Nerchio is building a lot more roaches. 18 roaches on the way. How many drones does he have? He does have 65 drones, which is an okay number. It's good to have a few more, but that's not a horrible number to stop droning at for a while and start just building a lot of combat units. In fact, both players basically maxed at this point, 199 to 198 supply. Lots of upgrades coming out from Lowely, actually. +1 armor finally on the way, getting the Overlord speed upgrade and the Grooved Spines upgrade to increase the range of his Hydras as well. Nerchio, at the same time, has gotten his Infestation Pit, the Pathogen Glands upgrade on the way, so both players just getting the tech that they didn't quite yet have, and the other player did, evening the playing field. And it looks as if we are going into a long macro ZVZ, which is not the most common thing. That's not something we see every day. So I am pretty psyched to see that coming in. Ooh, we see the Overlord drops, the Ventral Sacs on the way from Lowely as well. So he could make some big plays here. I'm pretty excited to see some ZVZ Overlord droppage. Will it be Roaches and Hydras, or will it be primarily Infestor hit squads is the question. We'll have to wait and see. He's getting burrowed too. I love this. Lowely has realized, okay, this is going to be a long macro game. I have some resources to play around with. I have 3,500 minerals and 1k gas. So I'm just going to start getting this sort of like random esoteric upgrades we don't see every game. Maybe I'll use them, maybe I won't, but I'll have them if I need them. Now we actually see Nerchio's getting pulled very, very out of position by a small group of roaches, allowing Lowely to push forward, but oh my god, Nerchio with a beautiful arc right there is going to send Lowely packing immediately. Lowely, behind all of this, has just started his hive. So we could see Broodlords pop out here in the near future. Same goes for Nerchio, and he's already building that Spire as well. Where's the Spire? We're playing another game of Darnock finds the Spire. There it is, hiding behind the natural mineral line. Nerchio sending a probing force of roaches towards that 4th base of Lowely. Just clearing up supply, in fact, to be able to build more roaches. Looks like both players actually going for the exact same strategy. Nerchio sending a few more roaches up here. He's happy to trade the supply for infestors, and you know what? If he's able to kill a few drones here and there, well, that is just splendid. Nerchio moving his whole army around right now, really clearing out the final overlords that were on his side of the map, making sure there's no map vision for Lowely. Now, a nice burrow here from Lowely is going to save a couple of those roaches. Those could be a little bit annoying later. Unburrow at some point, gets sent towards the mineral line of this 5th base of Lowely. But there is an Overlord drop, ladies and gentlemen, and it is pure roach. Nerchio does not see this coming. He has no idea this is happening. Unit's just sitting pretty over here. He's going to pull a lot of infestors and hydras to go deal with this. But this is actually dealing a fair amount of damage to everything that is in the main base now. The roaches, the hydras, the infestors are arriving. This is a lot of units, actually. And Lowely may decide to try and press this advantage by attacking the 4th base. However, Nerchio has it pretty well protected. He has 4 spine crawlers, a nice handful, actually more than a handful, quite a few infestors as well. So he should be able to lock this down until he gets his units to come back. A lot of infested Terran getting spawned by Lowely, really tearing through those spine crawlers as quickly as he can. Great bungles, though, going down on the entire blue army right now. You see Lowely's going to have to turn around very, very quickly, but he really didn't lose all that many units. He primarily traded infestor energy for spine crawlers in that engagement. Both players building a lot of hydras, a fair amount of roaches as well. Keep in mind, they both do have their hives up and running. Wow, the roaches in Nerchio's main base actually still doing quite a bit of damage. If we take a look at the workers killed, we see they got up to 16, maybe 17, 16 workers killed before all was said and done. However, now it is Nerchio's turn to get on the warpath, and it looks as if Lowely just going to give up this base. He's pulled all of the drones, minus this poor drone that was kept on the extractor, working through the battle. It does get taken down very quickly. However, being the noob that I am, I did miss Lowely taking down the base in the lower right. I do apologize very much for that, so things still very, very equal for the time being. 4 bases to 4 bases. Nerchio attempting to retake his 5th. Lowely, of course, will do the same here pretty shortly. Maybe not, though. It looks like he might just try and turtle on 4 bases, get up a huge Broodlord army, and go for a kill. He is building the Spire right now. However, Nerchio building his Greater Spire. And uh-oh, we see Lowely lose quite a few infestors, actually. In fact, he has a huge supply deficit currently, which could be a big problem. That Greater Spire for Nerchio almost finished. And his Broodlords are going to be considerably earlier than Lowely's, because at the point that Nerchio starts building Broodlords, Lowely will start building his Greater Spire. So Nerchio going to have a pretty sick timing if he is able to take advantage of it. And there we do see the first round of Broodlords on the way from Nerchio. He's killing some of his own units to make even more supply for more Broodlords. Where are they, though? Where are the Broodlords? Broodlords. Found them. There are the Broodlords. Now I can see them morph again. However, ooh, nice scout from Nerchio. A drop was on the way, and looks like it will go through here from Lowely. But Nerchio scouts it much more quickly than he did the first time. Shouldn't you lose anything? Actually, this hive is very, very low. But no, you know what? The Hydras are going to get here in time. They're going to be able to kill so many Overlords before they do complete their drops. This shouldn't be a problem at all for Nerchio. However, he does have a lot of units out of position. Lowely going for a counterattack. I love how he's splitting up his army. The Ling's going to be able to tear through this hatchery very easily. And then he's going to have his big combat units, the Infestors and the Hydras, go where it matters. However, the Broodlords are in position. Lowely going to turn around and hightail it out immediately, as he has no response to these Broodlords. Yeah, he has Hydras, but they are not the strongest Hydras in the world, and those Broodlords are very, very scary. But the hatchery going to go down for Nerchio once again. There it is. Killed every last drone that was mining in the area as well. And again with the burrow, I love it. Going to make it so much more difficult for Nerchio to retake this base. Lowely really showing us why he is currently a rising star. Well, not currently. Lowely's been a big name on the scene for a while, but why he has been a rising star for a while. It's been a slow rise, but he is rising. It is happening, I promise. Nerchio, though, he knows he has the advantage with these Broodlords. He is ready to push. A big fungal, though, is going to soften up these Broodlords considerably. As I was saying, he has taken down the middle of rocks, really creating that direct path to his opponent. He is throwing down infested Terran ahead of him, leading the charge with those 3 expendable units. And this is actually the craziest ZVZ battle I've seen for a while. The entire screen filled with units all over the place. Nerchio, of course, getting a great trade. However, there is nothing really focusing down these Corruptors, and he's starting to take a lot of damage onto his Broodlords, which is a really big problem. Really needs to get those Hydras over there, focusing down the Corruptors. There we do see they are starting to go down, but a couple of Broodlords have already gone down. We may see a 3rd fall as well. Will it matter, though? Nerchio's push seems inexorable. More Infestors, though, arriving on the scene for Lowely. A lot of blue-infested Terran getting thrown down. Will he be able to push this back? The ground force for Nerchio dwindling considerably, and Lowely has been able to spawn some Broodlords of his own. Nerchio just microing those Hydras forward, focusing down all but one. Oh, the Broodlord does not get away. It dies at the same time as the final Hydralisk, but keep in mind Nerchio now doesn't really have much of a ground base to be able to be able to defend against these Broodlords, so he's going to have Infested Terran spawn directly under them. Doesn't look like they're going to get focused down, though. Instead, they're just going to take down the Infestors that Nerchio did have in the area. Both players very, very weak right now. 116 supply compared to 117. However, Nerchio, with that Broodlord count, is able to throw his weight around so much more than Lowely is able to. Lowely building 11 Infestors right now. It's kind of insane. 11 Infestors on the way for Lowely. Just wants to try and delay this game as long as he can. Even though he lost that base, he still does have a pretty equal economy, and he's actually going for a counterattack right now. So Lowely's plan is to just attack with these roaches right here, try and base trade with them, and slow the advance of Nerchio as much as he can with the mass Infestor play. We just saw a whole bunch of Infestors go down for FXO Lowely. He's going to try and burrow under this force, and there is no detection in the area. There is no detection in the area for Acer Nerchio, so Lowely is going to be able to keep those Infestors alive. Once again, Bro really coming in clutch for Lowely. However, I think he's going to be in some trouble here pretty quickly. He's going to get his Roach counterattack force cleaned up, and at that point, what will he have? The answer is not a whole lot. Still 5 Broodlords out here from Nerchio. Some of these guys have been alive for a very, very long time. And Lowely continuing to smash that Infestor hotkey as much as he possibly can. But I do not think it's going to be enough. I think we're going to see Nerchio victory here for game number 2. He's continuing to try and counterattack around with a couple of lings, but I don't think it's going to be enough. A huge amount of Infested Terran actually getting thrown down here by FXO Lowely. Nerchio, though, does have quite a few as well. Nerchio really needs to try and keep these Broodlords up. He has lost 2 to the anti-air of Lowely. 3 of them, though, are going to remain in action, and I just don't think Lowely is going to be able to take down enough Broodlords to make things matter. In the meantime, Nerchio has gotten his ground army into a much better place. He has a lot of Hydras, a lot of Infestors back to support the remaining Broodlords, and Nerchio should just be able to push into a win here for game number 2. Oh, wow, that is a lot of Infestors. More Infested Terran getting thrown down. Nice fungal as well. The Broodlords are out of position right now, so Lowely getting as good an engagement as he can really hope for. Doesn't look like it's going to be enough, though, as the ground army from Nerchio alone is enough to deal with this. And oh, we need an Overseer, and here it comes. I just want to see all of these burrowed Infestors get blown up at the same time. That would make me a very happy caster indeed. Nerchio, though, preparing for his last push of the game, I think. Here it comes. He does not have the Overseer, actually. Did not hotkey the Overseer with his army, so these Infestors are going to continue to be a thorn in Nerchio's side. But I don't think it's a thorn that's going to lose him the game. Here come the Infestors once again. Infested Terran getting puked up all over the place for Nerchio and Lowely alike. However, Nerchio getting a lot more. Actually, no. That was a lot more Infested Terran for Lowely than Nerchio. All the Broodlords do go down. However, I think Lowely lost every single Infestor in that. The only... actually, no, he didn't. He actually has a lot of Infestors still down there. Now the Overseers do arrive. 4 of them, after all the units that can actually kill the Infestors that are hiding, are dead. So, nice engagement from Lowely, buying himself some time, but it doesn't really matter. He has 2 bases. They don't have a single mineral patch between them. Lowely can just sort of push for the win at this point. Or, excuse me, Nerchio can push for the win at this point. Lowely just extending the game, trying to wear his opponent out at this point. But uh-oh, finally, Nerchio does both have detection and combat units combined hand in hand. They're going to be able to clean up the remaining Infestors, and there is the GG from FXO Lowely.